Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The pitch, Arenado with a half swing, a tap out in front of the plate, fair ball. He's tagged out by Murphy, and this ball game has come to an end. Arenado with a nick of the bat on strike 3 of the first inning. Couldn't get the bat out of the way here, and he taps out 2 unassisted, and the Braves, they let out a sigh of relief, hanging on to win 7-6.
Yeah, the Braves win the first of a series in Atlanta last night. They'll play again tonight. 5:20 pregame on KMOX. 6:15 is the first pitch. Then they'll play tomorrow morning. Actually, they'll get started our time. And because it is Tuesday on the Gashouse Gang, we are joined by Cardinals manager Oli Marmol with us for the first half of the show. Tom Ackerman, Bernie Miklas, Chris Ranji today. It's good to have you with us. And Oli, we appreciate you, as always, being with us on Tuesday. And you said after the game, your quote was, good baseball until it wasn't. And after now having lost 5 straight, I almost wonder if you feel like you could use that same phrase, anytime over the last week or so.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at, let me start off with this. It sucks to lose 5 in a row. We're well aware of that. It's a matter of how you're getting to that point, and it's hard to fault the guys for the way they're going about it. We're on the wrong side of playing good baseball. We've gotten beat. I mean, New York just straight up beat us, and then last night's game got sideways there in the 8th. So it's unfortunate, but I do like the way the guys have gone about it. I can't ask them to do much more than they've done.
And that is it. Oli, hey, good to see you. That's because you're trying to develop them at the same time. And it's kind of like what we talked about last week, where I told you that I started to feel, I don't know, not that I'm lowering my expectations for the entire operation here, but I'm just trying not to get too far ahead of myself and trying to focus on the fact that your job here and the Cardinals' job is to get better and better and better with these individuals as it goes along. And getting losing the end of the scoreboard is not fun, but you do have to stay focused on the task at hand. Isn't that kind of what you're saying?
The worst thing you could do is get frustrated with this group in a way that leads to stunting their development, or young guys starting to play tight, or whatever the case may be. But when you look at each guy individually and the growth that's taken place, and we've talked about this in the offseason, spring training, early this year, has a chance to win. But you have to continue to develop these guys and give them the opportunities that we've talked about all the way through. So I'm with you. But you look at what some of these guys are doing offensively and the approach they're taking and the growth there on the pitching side as well. And there's going to be days where, man, it doesn't look good, or you lose a game. Like we played in New York. It was the way I described it, it was a very youthful game. There's certain opportunities that a veteran club would have took advantage of, and our guys will learn from it. And hopefully by June, July, they are taking advantage of those situations. But it was a youthful loss in the way it went down. They still played the game well, but there's opportunities to take a couple while we were there.
Oli, this team right now, and we've had a lot of people during our show earlier talking about the fact that it has not been particularly good on the road for this team, which is where most of the struggles have occurred. We're not even really a month through the season. Is there something special about road games that are causing issues for this team, or is this just the way it's played out?
No, it's just baseball being baseball. I mean, last year, I either 23 or 24, I can't remember, but there was a big deal made of, man, you guys can't win the first game of a series, or it was just baseball being baseball. And then once you start winning the first game of a series, they went on to the next negative thing that you could possibly talk about. No, I mean, there's nothing to road away. The preparation has been really good. I'm proud of our staff and the way they've gone about it. I can talk about that for days. So yes, we've been on the wrong side of it on the road up to this point. But to your point, we're 10, 12 games in on the road. So not too concerned about it.
It's a really good baseball team that you played in New York. There's no doubt about that. The Mets have everything going right now, and that top of the order is ferocious. So you talked about the fact that you have to get around it, and you're going to face it eventually. I did want to get this out of the way and go right to that Friday game. The Friday game was one that was really difficult, and Miles gets pulled. You pulled him in the fifth. You go to the bullpen, and therefore, because you're in a 6-man rotation, you're one reliever shy of what you might try to do there. So here we go. So you have the top of the order. It's bottom of the ninth. Donnie just hit a home run, ties the game, and you went with Fernandez there over Helsley at the top of the order. Can you take me into that? And then I have a follow-up just in general about the bullpen.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess the argument's going to be Helsley hasn't pitched for a while, therefore get creative and use him in the ninth. It's hard to use your closer in the ninth on the road, tied, because you're guaranteed the 10th, and then you're throwing someone with not as much skill with the runner starting at second base. So can you get to the 10th? Is it that your best chance to get to the 10th? The answer is yes. The reason it's not done is because then you burn your closer and you still lose the game by not having them once you do have a lead. So I understand the argument, but there's a reason why no one does it. So I'm more than happy to have this conversation. We can beat this up and take the 30 minutes to do exactly that. I think it's just an easy way when you're going through a little bit of what we're going through right now to start to second guess those type of situations, which that's not where the game is lost. I mean, we can talk about it, but that's not where you're losing the game.
No, I appreciate it. And it is something, it's a baseball strategic question that's, I think, worth discussing, especially when you you got a Lindor, Soto, Alonso threesome facing you. You would think on the surface that Helsley's better fit for that, but you just described the situation and why you would tend to not do that. I did want to ask just in general how you see your bullpen right now. Are you in a situation where, actually, two questions. One, Helsley, we haven't seen since Wednesday, so I'm assuming he's okay. This was just not the right situation.
No,
hasn't come up.
He's perfectly fine. You need a lead. It gets to the point where you're that fifth day, he tends to want a touch, regardless of situations. So like a game like today, you could see him being used in a non-traditional way just to be able to get a touch, knowing that he can go today, tomorrow, having an off day on Thursday. Less likely to do that on a day like yesterday, because if you're down and you use them, then you know you're only going to have them one out of the next 2 days. You're not going to throw them 3 days in a row. So you wait for today, presents itself where we don't have a lead and he still needs to get a touch, then we do it. And then hopefully we do have a lead and he's used the way he's supposed to be used. But fire away on the Helsley in the ninth. I'm sure others have opinions.
No, we covered it. And then I'll turn this over to Bernie. But the other thing is with your bullpen, Bernie, you can follow up with this, but you're still trying to find the right people in the right spots. It seems like Leahy's passed the test, but you're still trying to give some of these pitchers the opportunity to show you what they got is sort of how I see it.
That's what we have to do, right? We have Phil's new to the group. And has done a really nice job. So he's solidified his spot in those leverage innings from the right side. And you're given an opportunity to the Leahys and one Roycroft is here and Fernandez to take that and run with it. But you have to grant the opportunity. And there's going to be times where you're frustrated with how it goes. But that is the point of what we're doing. You have to see what they're capable of doing and what they're not capable of doing, and then helping them grow through those situations. But getting frustrated with them or just pulling the plug early is the opposite of what needs to take place at the moment.
Oli, Bernie, how are you, man?
Yeah, doing well, man. How are you?
Hanging in there. I'm doing good. It seems like
you're hanging in there.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say it's like a 5-game losing streak, but it kind of feels like at times. My batting average getting connected to KMOX is I'm probably about 1 for 5.
All right,
each week. So anyway, no, I wanted to follow up on the Helsley Fernandez thing. Here's my only thing, and I got to tell you though. Yeah. Okay, can I just tell you something? When you said that Friday night, right? When you were asked about why not use Helsley there, you you did something really bad to me. You didn't realize you did you did something really bad to me. You know what you did?
You made you dig.
Well, with all due respect to the former manager, you gave me a Mike Matheny flashback, and
okay.
In 2014, like I'll never forget it because it was a huge deal, and I know the circumstances are different because there's no 10th inning ghost runner thing. Okay. Although they don't do that in the postseason anyway. But anyway, I'm sorry. Let me just get going on this. So, they played 3 close games in a row out in San Francisco, and they lost all 3. And never at any point did Trevor Rosenthal appear in a game, and all 3 of these games were close. And so in the bottom of the 9th, when they're facing elimination, he chose to bring in Michael Wacha, who had not pitched in 20 days and had only pitched 4 times in 128 days. And I asked him that very question. I said, Michael, why didn't you bring Rosenthal in that situation? Because your season's literally on the line. And he said, you never bring your closer into a tie game in the 9th on the road. And he gave me a look of utter disdain. And I guess that stuck with me because I'm like, I understand managers have preferences on how they do things, right? I get it. I really get it. But is there a danger of getting so rigid, sticking to your preferred way to do things that you won't consider like using Helsley against their 3 best hitters that are coming up in the 9th? Because if you don't get through the 9th, there's not going to be a safe situation. You know what I mean? See what I mean?
No, I do see what you mean. The difference is he's in the playoffs. This is April. All right. I don't feel like I get the point of an elimination game, and it may feel drastic simply because, like, man, you're about to lose 4 in a row. So I get that point. I really do. Using the ghost runner matters, and here's why. Like, starting with the runner at second, you're almost guaranteeing that run to score. Like, the rate is super high. Fernandez being able to get a clean inning and navigate that, like, he has to be able to do it. I just feel like that's a situation where he comes in, no runners on, you got your clean inning. Is it their best guys? Absolutely. But if it was where you had a little bit more protection on the back end, like a Leahy or a Maton available, like maybe I do it there and feel comfortable one of those guys taking the 10th, but that's just not the situation we were in. So, like, I hear the argument. I don't get so rigid that I wouldn't ever do it. I still felt like giving Fernandez that row and then having Helsley for the next inning was the play. He gives up the homer, and now we have the ability to second guess it. That's the beauty of baseball.
Oli, again, with all due respect, you and I have good conversations, so I know you don't take it the wrong way when I just press you on something.
No, go ahead.
It was a couple of years ago, and I remember I have the quote around, where I said, man, that I love this. This is how a manager, I think a manager should be. I'm going to use my best high leverage reliever, depending on the situation, how important the situation is. I don't care if it's the 7th or I don't care if it's the 8th. So with all due respect, that seems to contradict what you decided to do the other night.
The runner at second is what throws it off a little bit. It really does. It changes the math a little bit, and not like the math from the analytics standpoint, just strictly like there's a damn guy at second base now. And I want my best guy to be able to handle that with nobody out, runner starting at second. So that's where the math changes. When it comes to using your best guy against their best guy, I agree with you there. That's why this one's a little tougher, because it is you're looking at the 10th inning. If there's no runner, I would do Helsley there and guarantee ourselves the fact that, man, this is their toughest row. It's their baddest dudes. Our good guy against their good guys. Let's go at it, and we'll figure it out after this. But the runner at second does throw that off a little bit. It makes you think about it twice. So I completely agree with what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. I really do. Yeah. The runner at second is the part that makes it kind of difficult.
So then, do you feel like you can trust anybody other than Helsley late?
I think it's pretty reactive to go, man, we got to do something different with JoJo. We got to use somebody else that, like, I hear you, but let me ask you, Chris, what would you do? Like, what in that situation, lefty row, you're asking, can I trust JoJo is the way I took that question. And maybe you didn't mean it that way, but let's just go down this road. What would you do?
No, I mean, my question to you is pretty much that. I mean, do you feel like you have other guys you can trust that deep into a game, whether it's 9th or 10th? And I know sometimes when you get to extras, you don't have a choice. You have to go with what you have. I'm just wondering if you feel less confident in most of the bullpen at the moment.
I think we need to continue to do our jobs and getting them better is the way I look at it, right? Like, Fernandez is starting to get closer to what we need him to be, even though the results, if you look under the hood, he's headed in the right direction. The results may not seem that way at the moment, but we need to continue to do a good job of getting him back to having swing and miss stuff and getting the chase on the slider and the fastball doing what it needs to do. Leahy, I do feel like he's in a pretty good spot. We just have to be careful, and because we're trusting what it looks like, not to overuse him, right? Like yesterday, you're sitting there, he has a clean 7th, and you can easily go, well, hell, run him out there for the 8th. Well, that's where you run him into the ground. Like, his workload has been heavier than most in the pen. He's had a lot of different multiple inning outings, so you have to be careful. And Maton's here to do exactly that, to take the 8th inning the way he has all the way throughout the season, has done a very nice job of it. So it lines up the way you want. He faces a ton of hitters, walks a couple guys, and gets to the point after that ground ball to short where, man, now you're in a lefty row and he's throwing a lot of pitches. You go to JoJo. It doesn't work. But to say that should be somebody else, like, I'd love to know who that is.
Cardinals manager Oli Marmol with us, and it's brought to you by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. We still have a bit more to go with the Cardinals manager. We'll do that when we come back on the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is, who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardy contractor and Pella window specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050, and have a banner day.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here. If you were misled or lied to in any way when buying a timeshare, right now is your wake-up call. With the tariffs, economy tanking, and inflation rising, you might need to ask yourself this question. Is owning a timeshare a good idea? With all the economic uncertainty, you need to protect yourself and your family. Don't look back and say, if I'd have only got rid of that stupid timeshare they lied to me about. It's time to stop thinking about canceling your timeshare and finally get rid of it and be smart with your money. At Wesley Financial Group, we've saved 48,000 families an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare permanently or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040. 800-854-4040.
You asked, we delivered. KMOX, now on FM. Crystal clear sound at 104.1 FM.
Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. It is Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, with Oli Marmol and Bernie Miklas.
I hope you don't mind a little more talk about the bullpen, because it's definitely a pressing problem right now. But when I look at it, I'm writing a piece on this for tomorrow. When I look at it, it's a situation where, okay, when you don't have Matz in the bullpen, it's a minus because John King's not quite himself, and then
Yeah.
Jojo Romero, who we all respect, I don't have to tell you, he just gets killed by right-handed hitters. So that's tough. It's tough to kind of spot him in that specialist role because he's actually faced more right-handed hitters than left-handed hitters, which puts you at a disadvantage. And he also doesn't have the swing and miss that he did, a while back. So do you have any thoughts on this? Last year at this time, maybe not Matt's because Matt's was injured, but you had Libby in the bullpen. And look, you made the right decision on Libby. Not that you need my approval, but I love what he's done at starter. But it seems like your depth is an issue, especially if you have Matt's in the rotation during those periods of time. And I wonder how you get around that. It's hard to get around it. Yeah, with Fernandez struggling,
it's hard to get around it. It is what it is. Like, it's hard to get around there. We're going to have to figure out a way to manage it. I'm not going to try to dance around it. It's we knew that by putting Libby in the rotation, it will create a little bit of a void of bridging you to your back end, right? The risk reward was not even close, because if he becomes a legit starter, then you have something really good on your hands. So we were willing to make the move, knowing that at points in the season, because bullpen got it goes up and down, right? We saw that with JoJo before, where he had months where he was lights out, and then a period where he couldn't get a righty out, couldn't get his pitches to do what he needed them to do. We've seen the ups and downs of a bullpen. So we knew that at some point that would be a problem, not having Libby in the pen and someone to bridge you. And that's what we're going through right now. But you have to stick with your guys and give them the necessary opportunities to find out who can and who can't. What I will say is, from having Matt's in the rotation from time to time to keep the sixth man, it has kept our guys healthy up to this point, and that's been a problem across the league. And anything could happen at any point, but we're putting ourselves in the best spot to keep our rotation healthy. Once that's not the case, and you can go to the 5-man and you have an extra guy in the pen, then you can manage it differently. But at the moment, this is who we have. You're continuing to give them the opportunity and see what they're capable of doing. But there's not an easy way out of that one. There really isn't.
Oli, go ahead, Bernie. Follow up.
Just a quick follow-up. Would you, and again, I'm not sure of how you've mapped out the schedule for the 6-man. I know it's related to how heavy the schedule is, but would you consider this type of thing where you keep Matt's in the bullpen, and when you need to stretch that thing out for a bit, maybe you bring up McGreevy to make a spot start or two?
Yeah, we discussed it, and then seeing what Matt's looks like in a little bit of more one-inning stints, So it's been a conversation. We haven't come to a decision on that, but it's something that you definitely can toy with. I wouldn't. It's on the table. Yeah.
Thanks.
Decision to be made among position players as well as Mason Wynn starts to come back. I'll tell you what, that Thomas Sajaci, he takes opportunities and runs with it, doesn't he? He is something else. What a bat.
That's what you want to see, right? That's exactly it. You give somebody an opportunity, and they take hold of it and don't look back. That's exactly what you want to see out of a guy. It was good yesterday during that downtime, and Sajaci's young. You got to remember, he's playing different positions. He's learning different positions. The speed of it at the big league level, he's going to make mistakes on the bases, but he is so open to learning. And yesterday he's on the bench, and I wish there was a shot of it. I'm not sure if there was, but he's sitting next to Stubby the entire game. I mean, all 9 innings, and they're just talking about positioning every situation that came up. All right, first and second here, where are you supposed to be on this play? Now 2 strikes, where are you going here? And it was so good of just, I'm paying attention to the game, but I can hear what they're talking about. And the back and forth is exactly what you want out of your young guys. It was a lot of questions, a lot of, man, I didn't know that. But the back and forth is going to lead to more growth. But as far as that bats he's been taking, man, it's been fun to watch him. He's done a nice job.
NY is watching on YouTube and had a couple of questions, one of them about managing the bullpen, which we have really covered in the first part of the show, but also wants to know what you're seeing from Jordan Walker at the plate now.
Yeah, so a combination of things. When you look at his overall stance from the center field cam, from the pitcher's view, he was a little bit more closed off in a good way. He was in his legs, and the path looked pretty good early on. He has slowly gotten a little bit more open and on his toes and closer to what we saw at the end of last year. So there's been good conversations around what he needs to do as a reminder to stay in that position that gives him more success. But it's a perfect example of the game speeds up on you and you get into a rhythm and you slowly start to get away from the things that you've been working on. But I think he's going to be completely fine. This is a guy that's, when I say bought into what Brant Brown and that group is doing, Packy and BA, he'll get back on track. But that's a little bit from the mechanic standpoint of what we're seeing.
Well,
what else?
I'll go if nobody else.
Yeah, go ahead, Bernie.
Yeah.
The situation with let me take this back. I'm trying to, because I had one thing in mind. See, I have to adjust on the fly here. It's a situation where your team really went through a rough time offensively, and then last night was a good bounce back, especially that rally. This is just kind of the ebb and flow of the season, but during this period where your offense kind of just went cold for a while, could you connect that to maybe something that they weren't doing specifically as well as they did when they got off to such a great start offensively? Was there any lessons to be reapplied there, perhaps? Just wondering.
Yeah, you look at Herrera was a big part of some of that offensive surge, right? And you lose that. But the two other catchers have done a nice job of taking good at bats. It has slowed down a little bit, but they're still taking positive at bats. Our guys were really good at staying on the fastball early, and the at bats kind of derived from that. If you look at, and I don't want to give too much away as far as plan here, but I feel like we got off of the fastball. And you saw a lot of at-bats look more individual rather than a collective strategy against the pitcher over the last week. Yesterday was a really good meeting of getting back on track with that. And I felt like overall our at-bats were better and we were able to string more together, especially late against a good arm. So we need to build off of that for sure. Yeah.
Last time we did the show on Tuesday, you had just almost gotten thrown out of a game. Or people were asking why you didn't. And then you got that honor last night. So you finally got ejected, which I felt like you did it on purpose because we talked about it last week. And Graham wants to know why the umpiring has been so bad because there have been so many horrible calls recently.
Graham, answering this question comes with a big fine. So if you're willing to split it, I'm all game. But no, man, you take several that New York series. There were some calls that were very difficult that went against us, and you want this group to feel like they don't have to complain about that stuff. So you keep your cool, but it comes to a point where you just gotta let it eat a little bit. And yesterday was frustrating. The guy behind the plate was not like, he did a good job, but there were certain calls that didn't go our way, and at that point, I'd rather be the one to go than one of our players. So. You pick your spots for it, and it'll happen several times during the year. Hopefully not too many, but it'll happen a decent amount.
Oli, we talk a lot about the players offensively and Contreras trying to get it going here. And geez, that Arenado, the tapper last night, that was what a way to end the game. I wanted to ask you though about Burley. We don't talk about him enough. What's going on there? What is he seeing or not seeing?
Man, there's a couple of things mechanically that are going on of how he's getting to his launch position, but a lot of it is in his pitch selection, and we've talked about this quite a bit. Like, you want someone like Burley swinging when he can do damage, okay? Like, if you're going to be a first baseman at DH, you have to be able to get the ball off the ground. You have to be able to hit doubles and homers, and he's well aware of this. When you look at him scorching the league early and his batted ball profile actually looking pretty good, now the league has flipped and realized, man, we don't have to come in the zone as much against this guy because he's still going to offer at it. And not only is he going to offer, he has a high contact rate, so he's going to put it in play softly. And he needs to continue to make a real adjustment of getting the zone back to the middle of the plate and then only swinging when he can truly impact the ball. We've seen him go on stretches where he does it really well. Right now, we're not seeing that. But it isn't a matter of him not working on it or aware of it. It's just he's having a difficult time still not offering at pitches that he needs to be taking. Yeah, but that's kind of a big driver in it.
Our conversations with Cardinals manager Oli Marmol, sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. And as we say goodbye, Oli, Graham checks back in and says he, in fact, cannot help you pay that fine. So he's not going to do it. So I guess it's all you.
You got it, brother.
Oli, thank you. We'll talk to you next Tuesday at 12 o'clock. Thanks, man.
You got it. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Oli.
Cardinals manager Oli Marmol. We still have Bernie Miklas and Tom Ackerman and me, Chris Ranji, on the Gashouse Gang until 1 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
St. Louis, your drive home just got a whole lot better. Introducing Redbird Rush Hour, weeknights at 5. Get the latest local news, up-to-the-minute traffic, and exclusive St. Louis Cardinals insights, all in one power-packed hour. Whether you're stuck in traffic or cruising home, stay informed and stay connected to your city and your team. The Redbird Rush Hour, weeknights at 5, on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
DEA's National Prescription Drug Takeback Day. Learn more at DEATakeback.com.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Takeback Day, April 26th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. One question I'm always asked is, how did you become the largest injury firm in the world with over 1,000 attorneys and $25 billion in verdicts and settlements? One way was our financial strength. Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. To prosecute a typical case costs up to $250,000 in case cost. We advance them all. Product liability cases can have similar costs with an army of lawyers on the other side. Automobile insurance companies have the resources to fight. Guess what? So do we. Many law firms simply may not have the financial firepower to work up your case the way you deserve. And we don't charge by the hour. No recovery, no fee. If you have a question about your case or wish to become a client, go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer 24/7. It's that easy. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey guys, it's Glover. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free, no limit. The savings don't stop there. Pay no interest until 2030, plus $500 off your home improvement project. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley telling you about i3 Broadband. It might be time for you to go ahead and switch out your internet. It was amazing when the Pauley household brought in i3 Broadband. The speeds are so much faster. We're saving a few dollars. The service is fantastic. I never have to worry, a storm is coming in. I wonder if my internet's going to go out. They've got local service centers in St. Charles County and the Metro East. It is St. Louis people who are working for i3 Broadband. See if they're available in your neighborhood. Check them out, i3broadband.com.
Spring into a new home with amazing savings at TR Hughes. Hi, I'm Jason Hughes with TR Hughes Homes, and we are currently offering half off up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs on brand new to-be-built homes at select TR Hughes communities. That's right, half up to $40,000 in options and up to $5,000 in closing costs. Visit trhughes.com for details.
The choice of a home builder is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
However, you really should visit trhughes.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
St. Louis, your Battlehawks are back at the Dome this Saturday, April 26th versus the Michigan Panthers. Get your tickets now at UFLBattlehawks.com and join us for our pregame salute to football and go full battle rattle. This Saturday, April 26th. All tickets available at UFLBattlehawks.com.
Today, the Cards, the Braves.
Cameron Total Access 520.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is the Gashouse Gang until 1 o'clock. Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji. We just had our Tuesday conversation with the manager, Oli Marmol. And a texter from a 618 says they enjoy the time we spend with Oli. It's a must-listen time slot for Tuesdays. And we do encourage people, even if you don't agree with the manager on what his reasonings are. And we spent a lot of time talking about the bullpen, Bernie. And I understand his reasoning. But I also am, it might be different for the pitchers themselves who like to know what their roles are. They like to have them defined. They like to know that I'm the 8th inning guy, I'm the 9th inning guy, and I know that. And then it's a free for all, outside of that. But there is something about a high leverage situation, potentially using your best guy, especially if he hasn't thrown in a while.
Well, at that point though, he had Helsley had thrown recently because he pitched in the final game in the Astros series. So what was he off, like a day maybe or two? So they could have used him here, but you know what? It's an interesting thing to me. And see, this is why I really savor the opportunity to talk to Oli Marmol, and he's willing to take questions, and he doesn't care if you basically press him on something. That's not always the case with managers. So I respect him for that. But so what I learned today is that he had basically 2 risk factors that he was considering. The first was, I'll boil it down this way. Do you want Fernandez? What's a greater risk? Fernandez taking on, if it goes the first 3 hitters, taking on Lindor, Soto, and Alonso, guys who, by the way, this year are making $124 million in salary combined. So that's one risk. Then you're sort of comparing that to his other concern, which is, okay, even if Helsley gets through the 9th, then you're going to have Fernandez in the 10th, starting out with a runner on second. And the idea of a runner on second with Fernandez in the 10th made him queasy. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what made me queasy is sending Ryan Fernandez, who has just been absolutely terrible this year. His fastball is off. His slider is getting punished. What made me queasy as someone watching the game is the idea that Fernandez could get through Lindor, Soto, and Alonso unscathed. So, but it's sort of a pick your poison situation. I just hope, and he indicated that, I just think managers should not be so rigid in their thinking about, you don't use your closer on the road, a tie game in the 9th inning. I mean, but what is that? Was that some kind of federal law put in that I missed? I mean,
No, but I mentioned this, and Tom, I mentioned this earlier, right at the start of this. I think there are some pitchers that just, they so love to have their roles clearly defined, and pitching outside that comfort zone is difficult for them. The other side of that is you can just say, well, get over it, figure it out. You're a big leaguer and you need to be ready to go when I say you're ready to go.
Bernie, if they came up in the bottom of the 8th inning, I'm going Helsley there. Unless something's wrong with Helsley that I'm not aware of, but Oli just said that there isn't. So unless you're concerned that Helsley can't go an inning or 2 and you don't want to burn him out right now, I'm just trying to win the ball game. I mean, and then see another day tomorrow. It's not the playoffs, but these games are important, aren't they?
Yep. He's in a tough spot as a manager because, a year ago, he had a really great bridge, that he could build to Helsley in the 9th. Fernandez was a gem. I mean, a Rule 5 pick. He was an absolute gem last season. He pitched so well, and nothing really fazed him. And Kittredge was outstanding. And so you had Romero, who wasn't as outstanding, but especially against left-handed hitters, he could do a job. So you had a really good crew there, 7, 8, and 9 that you could count on. And that's why they had such an incredible record with late leads. But this year, there's no Kittredge. Not that it matters because he's injured anyway, so he wouldn't be pitching for the Cardinals even if they had re-signed him. Romero is a shadow of himself, and Fernandez is a shadow of himself. And I'm not saying that Fernandez can't get straightened out. I'm not saying that at all. But to this point, frankly and unfortunately, he's just a mess. So last year were those 7th, 8th, and 9th innings were your team's strength. It's just incredible. you could argue, except for Helsley, who doesn't get a chance to pitch much because the 7th and 8th relievers are often sort of getting the team in a hole. What was an incredible strength last year so far has been a weakness this year, and that's a really big deal. And that explains why the Cardinals, I think, are 0-5 in one-run games, and I think they're 0-4 in extra inning games. Those close games are going against them because that bullpen depth just isn't the same, and they don't have much down in the minors. You know, part of me, and I wanted to ask Oli, and we will if this continues. It's like I read the piece Derek Gould wrote today about Fernandez and Oli explaining why he's sticking with him and what they're working on, and we need him to do this with his fastball. Then his fastball, if that gets better, then we can work on the slider. And I have to say, while reading it, I was thinking, isn't that what Memphis is for? I mean, he has options like that. If a guy's really messed up, and it happens to young pitchers, I have empathy. But isn't it better to have them work on it down at AAA, and maybe you get another arm up here that you can use? You know what the secret is? There's really no one at Memphis that's that good that represents an upgrade. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
Maybe Riley O'Brien. I mean,
Maybe.
Riley, he's got 14 strikeouts in 7 innings. I mean,
I hear you, but why don't they call him up then?
Yeah, I would.
They need relievers, right?
Let's go get them.
See, that's why I'm so puzzled. All they've done is talk about Riley O'Brien. Oh, his fastball, the guy's unbelievable. Strike. Okay. Why isn't he here? I mean, they have a clear problem with their late inning relief and their setup relief. Why is he striking out all those people down in Memphis? I'd like to see him do it in St. Louis.
Totally. I do a clean swap right now for Fernandez.
Yeah.
And this is why I stick up for Oli on this, because if he's managing what he has, right?
Right.
And he's thinking about what he had last year with the same guys, or at least one of them, in Romero and Fernandez. And he's thinking, well, I got to get these guys back to what they were. And if they don't go back to what they were, he's screwed anyway. Because I mean, we can play this game about using your pitchers optimally all the time. How much better is the record really if he's making all the right decisions, if his relievers other than Helsley can't lock it down? Right?
And last year he had a set of late inning guys that were very, very good and very reliable. And this year it's the exact opposite. So there is only so much a manager can do. It's not like I know the Oli haters think, well, he's screwing it up. I don't think he is, because he had a system in place and it was working. It worked beautifully last year, but he just doesn't have the same personnel. And if a couple of those guys go south, he's really, really in a lot of trouble. Can I give you something real quick? Since the start of June last year, June 2024, that's when Romero started to go down. He's got a 5.22 ERA and a 17% strikeout rate. Yet I turn on the TV and I always hear is about, they just shut down lefty. No, he's not. Okay. He's just not. But we keep looking at him that way, and I'm not sure why. Since June of 2024, when he has faced right-handed batters, 121 right-handed batters, 320 batting average, 403 on base, 583 slug, and they're hitting a home run every 15 at bats. And he faces more right-handed hitters than left-handed hitters. That's a real problem. That's a big problem.
Yeah, and I'm not sure that Connie Mack's doing anything with this. I mean, this is a I mean, you are what your roster is, and I think that is right now the biggest problem the team's got. Bernie, as we go to break, tell us about our friends at Saliga, would you?
My pleasure. Thank you. Saliga Heating and Cooling has been around since 1927, helping St. Louis families. 4 generations of Saliga has been doing this for generations of St. Louis families, including the Micklases. We've been clients of Saliga for about 17 years now, and we love them because we can count on them. This proud independent American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer just takes great care of us. They take great care of everybody. And whatever problem we have, small, medium, large, something that's really got you freaked out a little bit, it's okay. Help's on the way. Saliga will take care of it. And there's no hustle. They'll hustle to get to your home to help you. But there's no hustling about trying to upsell you, talk you into something you don't need, try to talk you into a repair you don't need. In our neighbor's cases, in our case, it's the exact opposite. Saliga's looking for ways to save us money. They've told us, no. we can do this and it'll last for another 2 or 3 years and you'll be good. And that's why we have the maintenance program. It's called the Priority Club, is they come out twice a year and check all your stuff. And if they need to adjust something, they do. If they have a problem, they'll tell you there's a problem. But when they leave, you have the peace of mind and knowing that everything is okay. So it's called the Priority Club. And take a look at that. It's AligaHeatingandCooling.com. That's AligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight is testicular cancer. Dr. Woodson Smelser.
Testis cancer is a disease primarily of men 18 to 45. And so for men in that age segment, we recommend doing just a monthly testicular self-exam. And you can do this in the shower and just basically feel for any abnormal lumps or bumps on the surface of the testicle. And then, of course, if you find something like that, that's when you need to contact your doctor and get further workup.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Hi, my name is Christina Straight, the owner of Straight Realty, and I'm asking you, what do you want in a realtor? Do you want experience? I've been a broker for over 21 years. Do you want to know how much I've sold? I've sold over $500 million, yes, $1 billion with a B, in sales. Do you want value? I now list properties for only 2%. So if you're looking for all these things and want the best, then call me 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
The Ultimate Drive, hosted by Albert Pujols and benefiting the Pujols Family Foundation, returns Thursday, May 22nd to Top Golf in Chesterfield. Enjoy dinner and drinks, play golf with a celebrity, and support Albert and the Pujols Family Foundation. Limited days remain. Reserve yours today at Pujols.FamilyFoundation.org or go to KMOX.com/events for more info. The Ultimate Drive, hosted by Albert Pujols, sponsored in part by KMOX and Top Golf.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
James talks about his experience with 3-day kitchen and bath.
My wife and I had been talking for several years about getting our kitchen and bathroom remodeled. We'd had some bids actually been made. The thing that always put us off was that they were talking about 2 or 3 months to get all this work done. We heard about 3-day bath and kitchen. We thought that we'd give it a try. They spent 3 days on one of our items and 4 days on another, and the cost was about the same thing as all of the people gave us 3-month estimates for. They went out of their way to make sure that we were satisfied with everything when the job was finished. There's simply no question about the idea that they want satisfied customers and they want people who are pleased with their work.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-day kitchen and bath.
Homeowners, spring is here and there's no better time to sell your St. Louis home. But the agent you choose matters. So who should you call? Trusted Realtor Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. This is Debbie Monterey, and here's why Gloria should be your first call. While the average realtor puts a sign in your yard and hopes your home sells, Gloria will guarantee to sell your home for 100% of market value, or Gloria will pay you the difference. In this market, you don't want to risk working with someone who doesn't have the guarantees, the buyers, or the experience to help you sell within your time frame and for the most money. Many realtors will overprice your home just to get your business, which can lead to your home sitting on the market with little or no offers and then price reductions. If you want to sell your home for 100% of market value or have Gloria pay you the difference, call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang on your home of the St. Louis Cardinals. 1120 AM, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Yes, the Gashouse Gang brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. I said it yesterday. Was upset the Blues let that one get away on Saturday, because that was their opportunity to go into Winnipeg and steal a game, come back home. They will play Game 3 down 0-2, and that game will happen on Thursday. So Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji on the Gashouse Gang for a few more moments. Well, now what, Bernie?
They got to get back to playing their game. And it's hard to do. Winnipeg's an excellent team, but the sad thing about it, they had Winnipeg rattled, and they let them get away. And it started what became a problem in Game 2 as well. I mean, the Blues are fading in the third period. They have faded in the third period of both of these games, not generating much offense at all, not having the possession time, not getting people in front of the net. So the Blues are getting outplayed in the third period, which is something that they did really well during that winning streak. The other thing is their 5-on-5 play has been really lacking, which is a problem because that's their foundation. And the other thing, I've got numbers, but I won't bore people. Shots from the high danger area, slots and crease, which are the premium shots. Winnipeg has a huge advantage over the Blues. They are getting the juicy stuff in front of the net, and the Blues are nowhere near the net.
Oh, so they got very little of that late last night.
And I thought Jim Montgomery really kind of diagnosed his team's problems very well. So I expect that to be a change in the next game. They also are going to have to get the Thomas line away from their top line, because their top line's killing the Thomas line.
Oh, they were hunting Kyrou, weren't they? I mean, they were going after him. I really thought that the start of Game 1, the Blues hitting everything in sight was really exciting, but two things wrong with that. One, that means you don't have the puck. And two, Bernie, you can't sustain that. You cannot sustain that all game. They tired out in the third period in Game 1. I think the same thing happened last night. I really do.
It did. Yeah, you're right. It did. So, listen, I do believe in that old saw. It's like, well, it's not really a series until a visiting team wins a game in the other team's building. So it's not like it's a stunner that the Blues are down 2-0 to the best regular season team in the league. But the regret is that especially Game 1 was just about in their pocket. And they let it get away, and that would have really rattled Winnipeg, because they have a history of playoff collapses.
Yep.
And so does their goalie.
Yeah, and he made an awesome save on Kyrou that would have made it 4-2.
Yeah.
That I think if Kyrou scores there, they probably take Game 1.
And bro, Bennington was awesome last night too.
He was.
Yeah. All right, guys, we are off tomorrow. Nothing tomorrow. Bernie Miklasz and I will be back on Thursday for the Gashouse Gang at 12. But tomorrow we have an early Cardinals baseball game, so we will not be here for that. So anything you missed, the Gashouse Gang podcast is available on YouTube. It's available on the KMOX Sports Twitter if you want to go back and do that, and from the Odyssey app. For Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, and Chris Ranji, have a great day. We will talk to you soon. The Dave Glover Show is next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all